instead of get me a hat that says something cool like fire marshal or fire something, he gives me a hat that says fire warden. He got this hat for me. Brought this in to me the very next day, and that was old Nick. Nick's the guy that I gave the meth to that had the aneurysm and died in his sleep. He's a crazy bugger. But anyway, that night he saved my life. So anyway, I was with that girl, and turned out she had been using meth, behind my back, and had gotten hooked up with some pretty heavy people, and decided that she was going to go and do her own thing, and all the money I gave her to spend on the bills and whatnot, she was bound up with, so ruined everything there. And I ended up getting in church at that time, and went to work for a company called Norco, which is Northeastern Roll Company. And what I made out there was what they called whip rods, which were rods that rolled on the outside of the ice brewed beer kegs. It kept them from, I don't know if they, and even the manager didn't know if they kept them from freezing over or under freezing, or what exactly they did. He just knows that that's what they did, is they rolled around the outside of these kegs. And so I was doing that, and I had started getting to church, and I was going every week, and I'd broken up with that girl, and we had kind of a rough go there, or at least I did with it. And so anyway, while I'm there, I'm going to church, and I'm working at Norco, and this is about 2001, about 2001. And so while I'm working at Norco, the supervisor, he and I become real good friends. His name was Paul. And Paul was a pothead. So was I. And one day Paul came to me and told me he wasn't going to be able to hang out with me anymore, and that we weren't going to be able to smoke out, and that he had made the decision to go ahead and start quit drugs. And at this time, like I said, I was still back to using maybe once every couple of weeks of meth, and things were just like that. And believe it or not, there was another suicide attempt in there after that old lady, or that ex-girlfriend, had left me. She, when her and I broke up, my puppy had died. She bails on me. I lost my job. It was Christmas time, which isn't good for me anyway. Everything that could go wrong had gone wrong, and I attempted suicide again. And it was another failed attempt, a serious but failed attempt. And from there, like I said, I got back to the church, got into church, not back into church. I had gotten into church and started working. Every time they had a function, I was there. And this is after Paul had told me he was going to start this new program called Celebrate Recovery. Okay, so he starts going, and a few weeks into it, I start going. Well, at the point that I show up to my first Celebrate Recovery meeting, I'd been up for 2 weeks. I mean, I was having hallucinations like you wouldn't believe. And that's another thing. People that know me now know that I don't want to say atheist or agnostic. I mean, I know that there is a Jesus. I know he is considered the man, God, king, this, that, and the other. However, I question a lot of that and anything. That's not any of the point or whatever. I mean, I had my own experiences in the church. I've done everything from just being an attendee to praise and worship leader, and it was the way I felt my pastor was grooming me for becoming a pastor. So that's where I was in my thing. But anyway, I go to this program, and I stayed in Celebrate Recovery for a total of about 5 years. And I worked real hard. I wanted to get off meth. And that's the key right there. You have to want to get off of it. At this point, I had been using meth for, 15 years. I was tired. I had seen a lot of friends die. Lost a lot of friends. Lost my families. Everything that does and will go wrong when you're on meth. And that's what's happened to me. And I plan on doing videos that tell all the stories of in between of those times that I was on meth and things didn't quite work out, like being in a hostage situation, or all the times that I've been at gunpoint, the times I've been stabbed, the times I've been shot at, all those wild times when I probably should have died, but I didn't, if you're a young man right now, and, you've been doing meth for, well, I don't care if it was a damn week, you need to do what you can to get off. Because there's three people there's three situations that you end up in by the time you reach my age. I'm 41. You either die, you either end up in prison, or you end up in an institution. I've been in an institution. I've been incarcerated many, many times. The only thing I haven't done is die. I watched all my friends die. And that sucks. I'll tell you, that really, really sucks. It's in their memory that I'm kind of doing this. It's in the hopes that, if you're a young dude right now, or a chick, whatever, a young person, it's never too late to quit, but if you quit when you're younger, you got a better chance of making shit happen for yourself. I mean, I gave up a long time ago. My hope is that, I can just get a job and hold a job long enough to get insurance and, that pay a few bills, and then, hope that I have somewhere to go when I lose that job. And actually I haven't had a job, a good job in quite a few years. I had a job not too long ago, and due to my meth use, now I've got prostate problems, I've got intestinal problems, I've got all kinds of problems. What do I have to look forward to? Lots of pain. Lots and lots of pain. Getting off meth, I did it a little too late. I mean, I probably could have used another 4 or 5 years. Well, I could have used probably another 10 years. We'll call it 5 to 10 years. And then I probably would have died. By quitting when I did, I may have given myself another 20 years, which means I'll make it to my 50s if I'm lucky. And I'm a grandfather now. You know? It makes you think. I mean, I would, you know, growing up, I didn't think I'd live the past 25, you know? I didn't think I was going to be at this point. And by all measures, I shouldn't be at this point. I shouldn't be here right now. And here I am with a grandson and my daughter and her boyfriend and a whole continuation of me. You know, I don't, that's, you know, whatever, however that works, you know. My DNA has been passed on. My father's DNA, my grandfather's, and my hope is that this time it works out a little better. You know? I mean, I'm really proud of my daughter. You know, she accomplished a whole hell of a lot more than I did. And she's not a huge drug addict. She works hard every day, and you know, she's got her son, and she's trying to raise him the best she can, and with her boyfriend. And I hope them the best. Wasn't all, you know, you become a grandfather at 40. It's like, whoa, 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 the fuck, Chuck? Put it in the basket, you know. I don't know. I feel I was too young to become a grandfather. I don't think I was even supposed to be a fucking grandfather. And I'm sorry for cussing, but I mean, it really drives home my feeling, my deep feeling of how, you know, things were working. But I don't know. I would like to see people get away from meth. I know some of y'all out there will never do it. You'll die from it. Or you'll get arrested in possession of it and you'll go to jail for a very long time. You know. Or, you know, you end up in a mental institution. You know. And it's like with the whole become a Christian thing and really getting deep into Jesus and what Jesus said, and not becoming a part of some church or some idiot's ideology or you know, nothing like that. Best thing to do is, if you go that route, is pay attention to what Jesus said. You know, forget about what the pastor's trying to tell you. Forget about what the right-wing nut at your church is trying to tell you. Think about what Jesus did and what he wanted, not what some dude in a suit who's trying to bullshit his way into your life and take you know, while he takes 10% of your check. You know, I have a lot of problems with the church, obviously. I don't think anything of what Christianity has become is anything, you know, what Jesus was hoping his legacy would be, I suppose you'd say. You know, it's turned into something that it should have never have been. But my hope is that, you know, you find out who you are, realize that the drugs like meth or even cocaine or crack or, you know, whatever drug you're on, you know, the sooner you get off it, the sooner you can start your life. You know, if you wait too long, you know, people say, oh, it's never too late. Well, yeah, it's true. It's never too late for you to get off drugs. But, you know, you do reach a certain point where you're trying to rebuild your fucking life. It's kind of too late, you know. And if you wait 30 fucking years like I did, then, you know, your life is going to be shit. You're going to live with your parents and, you know, hope for the best. My father's, you know, 67 years old. I don't know how many more years he has left. And I don't know what I'm going to do when he passes. You know? I've seen so many people die in the past 7 years. I have lost so many aunts and uncles and cousins and friends and family. I mean, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I watched my mom die for 9 months. 9 months. I watched her die slowly, every day. From a point where she was walking around fine to the point where she couldn't even get out of bed and laid there in a bed and mumbled shit. And you couldn't even understand what the fuck she was saying. You know? Anyone who knew my mother knew how cool she was. I see all the faces of my friends that have died. I see the faces of my family that have died. And it's just, you know, it's hard, but you gotta do, you know, it's like my grandma always says, you know, you just keep going. You know, you just keep going. Some of us are meant to just do that, to just keep going. My grandmother's 87. She's watched 4 of her children die. You know? That's gotta be pretty harsh, man. I mean, that really. And her husband. And all of her brothers and sisters. She's watched everybody she's known and loved die. I mean, she doesn't even bother going to family reunions anymore because she doesn't know anybody there. But anyway, if you were looking for some key or secret to getting off drugs, the key is you. The key is your desire to get off drugs. If that's what you truly desire, that's what you can have. You know, believing in a higher power, that is part of it. I mean, I hate to say that. I really do. But as a drug addict, you know what it's like to sit there and watch the fucking shadow people run around your house. You know what it's like to hear and believe that things are happening all around you that aren't. They're not happening. You know? I have a lot of issues with the church, but at the same time, I think that that is one of the times and the places it needs to be. You know, a person suffering from a drug addiction it's a lot like suffering a mental illness. You know, you need some kind of guidance. You need some extra sensory perception that's on your side. You know, it's looking out for you. You know, you need some kind of deity, something that chases off the shadow people. And believe me, I've seen them. I know that they are totally fucking real. You know, in that sense, you know. And what I mean by that is, I used to stay up for weeks at a time. I used to see these things, you know. Hallucinations is what some people would call them. But even times long before I ever started using drugs, I remember seeing those things what was that? You see that little thing out of the corner of your eye that jetted back behind the corner? Well, you do drugs and stay up for a week and you see those, you know, you see that one that gets up, stands up, walks across the room and disappears somewhere else. But anyway, I hope that this helps somebody somewhere. If it does, that would be so awesome. And if you're out there and you're struggling with a drug addiction and you just want someone to talk, feel free to leave a comment. You know, I'll talk to you. I ain't got nothing to do. You know, and you know, I don't want to talk about doing drugs. I'd love to sit there and talk about, you know, what life is like without drugs. I mean, you know. I hope that that this, you know, is that little nudge in the right direction. I hope that this makes you think, you know what? Look at this pathetic motherfucker right here and his long hair and scraggly face. If that piece of shit can get off drugs, damn sure I can. You know, and do it. You know. Smoke pot. If that's what you gotta do, smoke pot. I smoke pot all the fucking time. And I will for the rest of my life. I don't give a fuck what the government says. They can kiss my fucking ass. But just find something that works for you. Do it. You know, get off those drugs like that. And even if you have to do something wild, like if you're stuck on heroin and LSD or oh shit, I can't think of those two hallucinogens that they use to help heroin addicts. But if something like that helps you, do it. Smoking pot always took the edge off of my come downs. You know, smoking pot takes the edge off of life. I mean that in the sense that you know, for my mental illness and for the things that bug me, which, you know, for me is a daily thing. Pot is so perfect. I mean, I wish the government would not treat people who smoke it as criminals, but as people who are medicating, or even, you know, just decriminalize it. Hello. God damn. But anyway, I think I will have a part 3 to this and talk more about my steps. I might even share my testimony, you know, just so people can have an understanding of what all I went through. I mean, because it's not just about going to meetings and this, that, and the other. No, you have to work that program. Whatever program, if you choose a secular program or a Christian program or a program that doesn't believe in the program concept, then, you know, work it, you know, because that's the only way you're going to get clean. It's the only way. And judges and lawyers and shit, you people who make decisions to put people in those positions that they don't want to be in by forcing them to go to meetings, you need to stop that shit. That doesn't work. It's never been proven to work. Every time I was done like that, I mean, it just really turned me off to the whole scene. But anyway, y'all take care, and I hope that you know, some of you got some kind of help out of this. I mean, my whole point of doing this is just tell where I've been and to tell my story. I know I got a face for radio and a voice for, you know, nothing, really. But anyway, y'all take care. Have a good one. Latest.